للحديث أكثر عن رؤية المهرجان لهذا العام، يسرني الآن دعوة المدير التنفيذي لمركز الشارقة لريادة الأعمال سعادة نجلة المدفع للمنصة لتلقي كلمتها.
And now we'd like to invite Her Excellency, the CEO of Sheraa, Najla Al Midfa, up on stage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I start my speech, I've been asked to ask you all to please tweet, and I will personally, hopefully, send the first tweet, which you will start to see on the screen next to us. Did you know that 10 years ago, we did not have an Arabic word for entrepreneurship in our dictionaries? Back then, I was a B student, at best. I spent my time with my friends, hanging out at Nasr Leisureland, ice skating, or Muntazah Al Jazeera, or watching the latest TV shows on Channel 33. Like most teenagers, I wasn't very interested in my studies. But like most teenagers, I knew I wanted to change the world. By the time I got to university, I decided that the best way to change the world is through technology. And so I pursued a degree in computer science and applied for a scholarship. I didn't get it. I then graduated and decided that I wanted to start my career, my first job, at a top-tier consulting firm. So I applied to McKinsey in Dubai. I was interviewed. I didn't get it. And I guess I still hadn't learned my lesson, because for my master's, I applied to Harvard. And you guessed it, I didn't get it. By now, I was starting to feel pretty resentful. I mean, surely, after all that hard work and effort getting through school and then university, surely I deserved to be rewarded. I quickly learned that the world doesn't work that way. The world did not owe me any favors. And just because I felt entitled to something, it didn't mean that I actually was. With this humbling realization came a shift in mindset. And I learned two things. One, you cannot achieve the extraordinary if you are not willing to go the extra mile. And two, things don't always go your way, but there is always a lesson to be learned. I began to reflect on these rejections as opportunities for growth. And I became fascinated with the process of just trying. I was curious about what would happen if I just dared. And the minute this mindset shift occurred, something interesting began to happen. 1 month, exactly 1 month after the Harvard rejection, I managed to get into Stanford. 1 year later, I was interning at Google in Silicon Valley. 2 years later, I was working at McKinsey in New York. Eventually, my career brought me back home to the UAE, and one opportunity after the other led me to where I am proud to be today, leading this amazing organization, the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Center, Sheraa. And as I stand here welcoming you all to the galaxy's fastest growing entrepreneurship festival, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, okay, great story. But what does that have to do with entrepreneurship? The answer is everything. You see, ultimately, entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's not just about starting a business, it is about achieving your full potential. It is about being willing to sacrifice in pursuit of a dream while your friends are busy on their laptops watching Netflix. You are busy on yours crunching numbers. And it is also the process of accepting failure and the tenacity to keep going despite all odds. We have 1,000 youth registered for this event. 1,000 of you under the age of 25. Most of you are not entrepreneurs yet. Many of you haven't even graduated from university and perhaps don't even know what you want to do next. But if there is one thing that I know about that next generation, it is that they want to make a difference in their communities, in their countries, in the world. The thing is, we think that the only way to make a difference is to work for a big, prestigious company or to work in the government. We never think about entrepreneurship as an option. It's too hard, we say, it's too different. And that's understandable, because remember, 10 years ago, we didn't have a word for entrepreneurship in the Arabic dictionary. Today, we have the term riyadat al-a'mal. Riyadat al-a'mal is entrepreneurship in Arabic. It is part of the Arabic dictionary. It is part of us, and it is part of you. And you are here today because you know you have something special to offer the world. Over the next 2 days, you will hear from some amazing speakers, and I know some of them are with us already. And trust me, you will be inspired, and you will be impressed, and you will be in awe, and you will think to yourself, but who am I to think I can do something like that? But the question is, who are you not to? Remember, in those moments of self-doubt, keep reminding yourself you are only hearing half the story. Just like on Instagram, where all of us are posting about our successes and achievements and accomplishments, nobody is talking about their failures and rejections and struggles with depression and anxiety. But these are the struggles that lie behind every success story. And your story is just beginning. You hold a pen that will write your story. And yes, while things may not always go as planned, it is up to you to dare to be different, to believe, to persevere, and to leave us all with an ending that the world will remember. After all, what is your excuse not to? I could end my speech here. I mean, I've ticked all the boxes, I've given you all the cliches, I've told you about entrepreneurship and about daring to go for it. I could stop here, but there's one more thing. Some of you may be thinking, okay, yes, entrepreneurship, but why Sharjah? So here's one more story. Some of you know it, and some of you don't. But this is a story about someone who dared to be different 20 years ago, who had a vision to transform Sharjah. When other cities were content with purely commercial developments, he invested in universities and museums and art foundations and cultural projects. And people said, yeah, but that's not sustainable. It's not feasible. It's too different. But His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, ruler of Sharjah, he believed and he persevered because he is an entrepreneur who measures his success not purely by financial returns. He is focused on instilling a growth mindset that will reap dividends forever. Today, Sharjah is a hub for the next generation of talent. This city has all the key ingredients we need to be the engine of the UAE's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Except one thing. You see, no entrepreneur can do this alone. And who are we to tell them to dare to be different when we are not willing to do the same ourselves? To my colleagues in the private sector, in the public sector, in academia, to all the supporters in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, when I talked about daring, I was talking to you. I was talking to us. We tell entrepreneurs to wake up, and yet we are still asleep. We tell entrepreneurs to hustle, and yet we are mired in bureaucracy. And we tell entrepreneurs to be different, and yet we stick to the status quo. When I talked about daring, I was in fact talking to all of you, to all of us. If we do not make it easier for entrepreneurs to start their businesses, open bank accounts, hire talent, access supply chains and raise investment, then the term riyadat al-a'mal will remain nothing more than a word in our Arabic dictionary. We cannot let that happen. We cannot let that happen because Sharjah was built for creating the future. We must do our part. And when our leaders have taught us to dare, to be different, to believe, to persevere, and to build a legacy that we can all be proud of, you tell me, what is our excuse not to? Thank you. Thank you. Before the festival started, I asked the team to make sure that the event was standing room only, and they've delivered. Thank you all for making the effort to come and be part of this festival. It's only our second year, but we've got a long journey ahead of us. Before I go off stage, I want to take this opportunity to thank a group of students and graduates who worked on this upcoming video, which I hope will reflect the message I tried to deliver. Thank you.
في البداية لازم تتعب بينتقدونك they'll judge you
they'll say it's too risky, they'll say it can't be done.
They'll say you can't see clearly, that you're too unrealistic, but they can't see your vision.
They don't know your heart. They'll never understand how much it means to you.
If you don't believe in you, who's going to?